I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wahara Kakwadash, and double honors to the Apostle and Elders of Great Millstone. It's the brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson to edify the hope for elect. So Lord willing, this video be edifying. I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to play this video from CNN, but basically it's going on the coronavirus and it's spreading in Italy, you know. And people out there is being quarantined. You know, basically, you can't leave the city, or you can't go into another city because the streets have been quarantined off. And this coronavirus can lead up to martial law being declared. You know, medical martial law. You know, when this virus spread, and they basically need the military to come in, you know, to so-called take care of things, you know. But it's going to be a martial law, state emergency, you know, which Esau is going to call it, a state emergency, you know, where the streets are being quarantined off. No one can enter. No one can enter out. No one can leave, you know. This is the time we're living in, you know. So we continue to look at this coronavirus as it spread through the four corners of the earth. You know, year 2020, year of prophecy. And these prophecies are coming to pass before our eyes. You know, this is 2nd Ezra 15, verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. So destruction to the world. Woe mean destruction to the world and them that dwell therein. You see? It says, for the sword and the destruction draweth not, and one people should stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. And that's talking about a civil war, you know, race riots. That's the time we living in. It's going to be race riots, you know, one going against another, you see, with swords in their hand. Modern day sword is the gun, or killing weapon, or killing instrument, you know. It says, verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, nor in their counsel of their actions shall stand in their power. You see? So say the streets get quarantined off, you know, people have a curfew to come in their house, to go in the house and not come outside, and the streets are being quarantined off. So that means, you know, nothing can enter in the city, nothing can leave out the city. And, you know, the grocery store, your local Walmart, your local grocery stores, I believe only have like 3 days of food. And your household also probably have 3 days of food, some less, you know. So when you have short of food, you know, because Jake like to eat, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American. And once you feel like you can't eat, or you don't know where your next meal coming from, you're going to lose it. So you're not going to regard the kings nor princes, the government, you know. You're not going to regard it. You're going to take actions in your own hand, you know. Like in the time of, I want to say Rodney King. And the Rodney King beating, you Jakes tore down your own neighborhood. Your own neighborhood, you Jakes tore it up. You see? And that's going to come again, you know, invading houses, you know. It says a man should, this is the point right here, you know, the martial law. It says a man should desire to go into a city and shall not be able. You see? And over there in Italy, you know, the coronavirus has spread it over there. So there's a lot of quarantine is going on over there, you know, from China, you know. So in certain parts of America, cases in America are rising up. So a lot of people in America is going to be quarantine stations, you know. So this can lead to martial law. This can lead to the president declaring martial law, you know. And basically that's leading to martial law and Jacob's trouble, you know. Because we're in a time of Jacob's trouble. You see? This is it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. You see? And we're living in that. Men shall be afraid when all hell break loose out here. You know, the toughest men. When men invading your houses, trying to kill you with the sword just because they think you have food, water, supplies. You know, that's the time we're living in. The scriptures tell you that wax cold. The hearts of people wax cold. Get that. I'm gonna go back to 2nd Esdras. It says, Matthew 24 verse 12, it says, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. You see? And we're living in that time when the when people are starting to wax cold. You know, they ain't gonna have pity on each other. It says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, you see, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and great tribulation. You see? Lack of famine, lack of bread, you know, lack of food, you see? So Jake's going to be hitting other Jake's house for the food, you know, for goods, for supplies to basically live off. Because you're not going to bear to go into your regular grocery stores without that RFID microchip. You know? And that's another way that Esau can declare martial law from the coronavirus. Take this chip so we know that you don't have the coronavirus. You know? Because we know Esau, he's a deceiver, you know? He's that old serpent. You see? So he tried to come at the people in ways that so-called benefit them, and taking the RFID microchip. If you have the coronavirus, take the RFID microchip, you'll be cured, you know. If you're missing limbs, you can walk again, you know. So Esau, you know, we're waiting on him to push that RFID microchip on a large scale, you know, the mark of the beast. Which is the mark of the beast. The RFID microchip is the mark of the beast. You know? But it's the time we're living in. You know? I'm going to play a little bit of this video. It says coronavirus cases soared in Italy as authorities scramble to find patient zero.
Officials in Italy now say that 5 people have died from the virus there. The number of cases in that country has risen to 219 very quickly. CNN's Melissa Bell is live in Venice with what they're trying to do at this point to contain the spread. Melissa.
John, I think you put your finger on it. That's what's really worrying, is how quickly this has exploded. We've gone from like less than 5 cases at the end of last week to these 219 confirmed just now, of which 5 people have died already.
So that coronavirus is moving like wildfire, man. You know?
Some 10 towns at the very least are under this quarantine, with 50,000 people here in northern Italy essentially trapped inside their towns and villages. Now, what authorities here are saying is that that quarantine system that they've put in place very quickly means that it is still safe to travel to cities like this, Venice, where I am now. But we've been really surprised to see how many tourists are still milling about and how few of them are wearing protective masks. Another extremely worrying thing for authorities here is that they still haven't identified, John, who patient zero is, which means that they don't know how it got here, they don't know how it's spreading, nor how quickly it's likely to spread, nor even how widely it may have spread already. And you have to bear in mind that here in Europe, the open border situation means that other countries like
Rather Esau, you know, from the CDC, the Central Disease Control, you know, whether they let it out over there in Italy, but at the end of the day, it comes from the Heavenly Father through His Son Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh. These the plagues that the Lord is smiting the earth with, you know. The coronavirus, you got the bubonic plague, there's another one, You know, you got the West Nile virus. It's another one I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But yeah, these the plagues of the Lord are sending to smite the people on the earth. You know, by the way of these viruses. You know, you got certain part of Africa, locusts. You know, out there eating crops. So that's turned to a famine. Those are plagues. You know. So the Lord is beginning to visit the earth, which He made, man, through these prophecies. The scriptures tell you that He's not a man that he shall lie. You know, though it tarry, wait for it, because it surely come to pass. You know, and we seen it in the year 2020. You know.
Austria are keeping a very close eye on what's happening here in Italy. It is also the first test, really, for a liberal Western democracy at keeping people essentially penned into their homes. Alison.
Melissa, not comforting that they know so little at the moment. Thank you very much for all of your reporting from Italy. Now to a CNN exclusive. An American couple separated by coronavirus when their getaway on a cruise turned into that quarantine off the coast of Japan. She tested positive and is in the hospital. He just got off the ship, and now he worries he may not be fully in the clear. CNN's Will Ripley has their story from Tokyo.
Yep, exactly. So, you know, those people were quarantined on them boats. You know, they couldn't get off. You know, just imagine you're in the middle of the ocean or on a dock somewhere and you can't get off the boat for weeks. You know? So imagine you can't come out your house or leave the city without that RFID microchip, and the government is shut down and the military are patrolling the streets. But that's the time we're living in, and they can come by in the way of this coronavirus. You know, so we're gonna keep our eyes on this coronavirus as it spread through the four corners of the earth, and you know, and continue to watch these prophecies roll. So with that being said, brothers, Lord willing that this video is edifying, I can leave this video in the description box. You brothers check it out. So with that being said, I'm gonna give all praise and glory to my power Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, Ba Hashem, Waharakakodash, and double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. Keep scribing, brothers, keep pushing. We almost out of here. Shalom, Abba Ball.
This is Dabu 7. For the longest time, we have warned about the possibility of FEMA facilities being used for whatever reason to house Americans in this country. Now, back in 2014, this very facility in Alabama was brought up, and they were going to house individuals there, and then Congress barked back, the people barked back, and it did not happen the way that they were planning. But now, we are finding out that the federal government, out of nowhere, has chosen this facility without giving the people on the ground any heads up whatsoever. They're very ticked off that they have to respond to this so quickly. The governor himself saying that these people should stay in their locations, they should not be spread across the country, and they should stay out of Alabama. But yet the feds say, no, we're coming in here with these people. They're going to fly them in a small plane. Then they're going to take them in via a federal vehicle. Then they say they're going to decontaminate both of them. And we'll see what happens from here. They've dropped the ball so many times that I already foresee a story breaking where, oops, somebody did this or that. And when I look into the story here, it says that they're going to be housed in this facility where they're going to have separate quarters, but they share a bathroom. Now, how wise and smart is that if you're supposed to be keeping them separated, allowing them to pitch this back and forth possibly in the bathroom? Why do they not have their own bathrooms at this facility if it's the one thing that could keep them fully separated and stop this thing from potentially going back and forth? Because all they can do is test to see if they have it at the time, if they're showing symptoms, and then those who are not showing symptoms or then testing negative, they're quarantining for a certain amount of time and then letting loose. Now that time is shifting around, but choosing this FEMA location in Anniston has got a lot of people upset. Let's just put it that way. They're not happy whatsoever. And you can say, yes, we have an operational FEMA facility in this country that is taking in Americans because of this. And this whole situation globally is one to watch in terms of locking things down. China locked down over 700 million people. That is unprecedented. It's never happened in our lifetimes. That many people locked down is like the United States and Canada times 2 plus some. Not allowed to go outside or travel, getting ID'd, only allowed to leave like every 3 days. Now imagine that. Italy already locking towns down as well and threatening people with 3 months in jail if they try to leave. I'm going to leave a link here, but this is what's happening here in America. Make sure to join me on DLive. I break this down even further, going live over here multiple times a week. There's replays here if you don't catch it live, so you can start them from the beginning. And if you want to join us, man, for real talk over here, all the stuff they're trying to censor and not get kicked out, we're talking about it freely and openly over here on DLive. Make sure to join us. You'll find links below in the description box. Much love.
Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Awashai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity. Alright, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered, hopefully elect, that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, and to the Akwath, you few sisters that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. Profiling a couple short videos that the brother Rawi La Yasharala Yahushua is coming back. That's on his page that he put up. They're short but powerful. Kind of have the effect that Obadiah has, you know. And it's the profile of the two videos in the middle with the sisters. You know, the one that says wake up, and the other one says that Hebrew Israelites are waking up and Europeans are afraid, is basically, you know, and it's true. All right. So without any further ado, I'm going to let these play, and then I'm going to talk about Gog and Magog and tie it all together. All right, because I watched a video with Anita Calmeda yesterday, and how the fighting is intensifying in the Valley of Jehoshaphat between Amalek and Esau, between Gog and the Amalekites, you know, because remember the Russians are actually Edomites, but they're in the land of Gog and Magog, so the Lord is referring to them by that name. Don't get it twisted. They're not the Japhetic nation of Gog and Magog. All right, and a lot of, you know, and people think that the Russians are gonna, you know, and the Chinese are going to reign victory in this after they destroy Babylon the Great, which they're prophesied to do. But after that, their fall comes. And through the reading of those scriptures, you're going to completely and totally see through the scriptures how the nation of people that are over in the land of Israel are nothing but Edomite imposters posing. All right, they're just the former Romans and Greeks, and they weren't even really those. You know, Amalek and the rest of the Edomite tribes that are there. So without any further ado, let's let this video play. Hope the sound is.
According to the Bible, genealogy, and history, the so-called African Americans
Let's take
are the
that
true
back.
Israelites. I hope you heard me clearly. Because this ain't a joke. This ain't no...
Let's take it back.
According to the Bible, genealogy, and history, the so-called African American are the true Hebrew Israelites. I hope you heard me clearly. Because this ain't a joke. This ain't no extremist movement. This is deep, and we have no time for games. So what if I told you the truth? Would you call me insane? Let's see. To my brethren, all my black sisters and brothers, Isaiah said he leave our name from being called the children. That's why in this country we're only known as Negroes and coloreds, but we're Israelites. And the people in the power knew that the Bible is our true history. So they painted Jesus white and made laws that prevented us from knowing how to read. But nowadays, they just keep us hypnotized by the dopest beats, so you can't even see the tactics that are keeping you asleep. We got the guns pointed at each other. Deuteronomy said, your eye will be evil toward your brother, toward the wife of your bosom and the remnant of your children.
You know, that's heavy. I'd actually like to see the rest of that video. But that was only a minute, and I could do an hour lesson off the just a couple of the points that she brought out, because it's all so true. All right, let's play another video, short video of another sister being bold in her little bit of knowledge that she has. But you know, it's exciting when you wake up, when you learn who you are, you know. But along with that pride, what should be greater is the sorrow and the pain and the shame that you feel when you're really real about this thing. Because when you realize that you turned your back on your power and you know, and that whole sort of thing, the shame, you know, so you feel anger, shame, and pain. I didn't see that part from her, but nevertheless, here we go.
An experience that I am the true Hebrew, the people of God.
What was a mind-blowing experience?
That I found out that I am Negro, therefore I'm part of the Igbo tribe, therefore I am the original family.
I have to speak. Let's pause it for a moment. Being a Negro doesn't mean you're an Igbo. All right, Igbos are Israelites, because she could either be Judah, Benjamin, or Levi. Although I do believe through her spirit that she's Judah, but nevertheless, you know, you just can't, you know. So what she's saying is a half-truth. It's close, but not 100% accurate. But one thing that is 100% accurate is that the so-called Negroes that were brought here to the Americas in the 1600s were indeed of the southern kingdom of the nation of Israel, of who the world calls God. They're his people.
Original God's people, the Israelites, the Hebrews that God set apart from everybody on earth, gave us land, holy land, and it's ours. It belongs to us, and forever they've been saying we're Christians, we're not Jews, we're the Gentiles, and we're just gonna have to pray our way into heaven. We're not already, that's not already our inheritance. We have to make it our. We have to go extra in order to get into the kingdom of heaven, and the whole time that's our land.
We the chosen people.
We
That's
are
right.
the chosen ones.
That's right.
And
We the chosen people. All the people in Israel right now is Romans and Europeans and trying to take over and impersonate.
So there it is. All right. What you're witnessing is the
According to
the valley of the dry bones. Jake is waking up, and it's a beautiful thing. But let's go into this prophecy about Gog and Magog. All right, and this is what happened, because the Lord destroys the armies of Gog and Magog after they destroy Babylon, which is the land of America. All right. So this is I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but I'm definitely going to read most of it, and then get some precepts toward the end. But this is Ezekiel 39th chapter, starting at verse 1. It says, "Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus saith Yahweh power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, chief of Meshach and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and leave, but the sixth part of thee will I cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. And I will smite thy bow out of thy hand, and I will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand." All right, so the Lord is going to bring down their armies. And I'm going to jump down to verse 7. It says, "So I will make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore, and the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel." And because why? Because the land of Israel, the reason the land of Israel is polluted. Why? Because you got the Edomites have appointed the land of Israel to themselves. You find that in Ezekiel the 36th chapter in the 5th verse, and it says, and it reads, therefore thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with all the joy of their hearts and with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. All right, the it that was casted out was the true Israelites, and now you have Amalek and other Edomites in the land of Israel, all the other converts claiming to be the people of the Lord, which is really futile and stupid, which is why they make laws, you know, because if you speak upon this thing, you know, you're anti this and anti that. All right, when all this is just simply the truth, because the truth does not benefit their lie, and we're just in that time where they're being exposed. It's just what it is. Right. So back to Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, in verse 8, and it reads, behold, it is come and it is done, saith Yahweh power. This is the day where I have spoken. And they that dwell in the cities of Israel shall go forth and shall set fire and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers and the bows and the arrows and the hand staves and the spears, and shall burn them with fire 7 years. So that never happened, because all the arms of the armies of the world are going to be destroyed and burned for several years. All right, they're going to be destroyed. They're going to be burned up. And so that is a very important point, because all the tanks and the guns, they all have to be melted down and destroyed, and that hasn't happened. And the only way Israel gets restored is when this happens. This is a part of the prophecy. So this is how you know, yet again, that the people in the land are not the people, and that Israel is not home yet, because there's not peace on earth. There's no more wars when Israel goes home, because all the weapons get rounded up and destroyed, as I just read. All right, so that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest, for they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil those that spoiled them, and rob those that robbed them, saith Yahweh power. All right, so the Israelites are going to plunder and pillage those that did this unto them. As a matter of fact, in this Bible, it gives you Isaiah 14:2. I'll show you the precept, if I can get it in frame there. See, Isaiah 14:2, plunder and pillage. All right, so let's go to Isaiah 14:2 real quick. And it reads, well, I start at verse 1, but the point is in verse 2. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. Those strangers are the Israelite foreigners that are scattered, that be like unto the speckled bird, that look like the other heathen. They're going to be scared and confused, you know, when this whole deal starts going down, because the Spirit is going to reveal that they're Israelites, but they're going to look like the heathens. All right? Verse 2, and the people shall take them, the them here is all the other heathen, mainly Esau, Edom, and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for service and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So the whole federal and states and the English courts, all those people are going into slavery for their oppression, because their law is not law and their law is oppression. So all these people call themselves judges and lawyers. You know, the ones that are the heathens are going into slavery. The ones that are Jacob are going to be shamefaced and embarrassed. All right? And the majority of them are gonna die the death of the heathen. That's that death by pain, because they're cleaved on to their enemy and helping oppress their own people. So all you soldiers and law officials and lawyers and judges that are jakes, hey, you need to just start spilling the beans. If you want any type of redemption, any chance, you need to start telling the truth about the corrupt system. Break your vows to Esau and expose them, and then take whatever punishment that's coming. All right? That would be my suggestion to you. And pray and call on the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. It's the only chance that you have. Because, you know, Paul did a very similar thing, but Paul was among the elect. You may not have that luxury. All right? So that's the only hope and only chance that you have. You know? Because you are helping forward the oppression to your own people. All right, let's I'm gonna jump to verse 12, and it says, "In 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea, the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them renowned the day that I shall be glorified, saith Yahweh power." All right, and they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. After the end of the 7 months, they shall they search. So basically, all those dead bodies from this great battle and this destruction that the Lord is going to bring, the first employment, because employment basically means you're a slave, you're being oppressed. Little do you people know that. But the first employment of Esau, Edom, and the heathen is to bury all those dead bodies, to bury their own family members and their own armies. So the weapons are going to get destroyed, and then they're going to have the employment of burying all those dead bodies. To what? To cleanse the earth. Because those dead bodies will help cleanse the soil so that life can grow again. The trees and the et cetera, et cetera. You know, from the dust you came to the dust you return. All right? Because the earth's going to have to go through a cleansing period. All right? Now I'm going to jump to verse 22. "So the house of Israel shall know that I am Yahweh their power, and from that day forward. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies, so they fell all by the sword." And that's exactly what happened to us. And that's what this little sister is explaining. All right? We fell, and the Lord gave us into the hand of Esau, Edom, for a period of time. And Esau went above and beyond his oppression. This is why his punishment is going to be so great. Verse 24, "According to their uncleanness, according to their transgressions, have I done." Keep that fresh. Somebody play that again. "Have I done unto them, and hid my face from them? Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name." And the only people proclaiming this holy name is the west, the guys from One West. All right, mainly the Great Millstone, and the affiliates of the Great Millstone who profess the elders as their elders. The rest, man, well, we'll see. All right, it says, "And after that they have borne their shame, and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and sanctified in them the sight of many nations." So before all the nations, that's that wisdom of Solomon in the 5th chapter. When they're all going to see our salvation. And truth be said, the elites of these societies know who we are. It's just the low-level worker bees, the low-level people who collectively don't. They're going to be the main ones in shock. The wealthiest people, the elites of these society very well know that who we are. That's why they agreed and joined together and made that tumult that could be read about in Psalms, the 83rd chapter. All right, it's just the low-level guy, the person who's ignorant and actually refers to their nationality as a color. You know, someone who calls themselves white or Asian. You know, people like that don't know their biblical nationalities. Okay, verse 28. We're winding down to the end here. Then shall they know that I am Yahweh their power, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and I have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith Yahweh power. And I'm gonna read some precepts and close these things out. He said he's gonna leave none of us scattered. That's gonna be over. And then he's gonna pour out his power. So his spirit. So let's go to the book of Acts. This is Acts 27 and in verse 7. 26 and 7. Okay, because this is all about Israel. And unto which promise our 12 tribes instantly serving power day and night hope to come, and for hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews. So this was all about Israel. The promises was, the whole book of Acts was about the Israelites, about those very same scattered Israelites, the ones that knew they were Jews, Benjamin and Levi, and whatever tribe, because there was a few Northern Kingdom tribes still there, a few. They weren't all 100% over here in the Americas. All right? So it was about them and the lands that they were scattered to. The people that were coming, and it's just ridiculous how stupid people try, how to read, use the book of Acts to graft everybody in. The people being grafted in are the scattered Israelites. And that inconvenient truth, in fact, is doing major damage. And that's the reason why why things are falling apart in this world so quickly now. The plagues are upon the other nations, man. Deuteronomy 30 and 7. All right, and he said he will begin to put these curses on the heathens, man. That's why everything is speeding up. Okay. So let me get these other quick precepts. Next precept is Zechariah 12 and 10. Let's grab that. This is Zechariah 12 and 10. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplication, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his own son, and they shall be in bitterness for him as one is in bitterness for his firstborn. So this was all about Israel. The other people have nothing coming. Like it says in 2 Ezra 6 and 55, 64, the other nations be like unto spittle. The Lord has basically measured them as nothing. They'd be like unto spit. When the last time you see someone fall on the ground crying and mourning, holding a funeral for a lump of spit, trying to pick it up, resuscitate it? Nobody cares. Matter of fact, it's kind of gross and people try to look away from it or step right over it. That's how the Lord looks at the other nations, like it or not. And if that insulted you, then you're a heathen. It don't matter. Let's go to Joel now. 2 and 28. And it reads, and it shall come to pass afterward, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions, man. Matter of fact, you go up to verse 27 right before it, that this is the subject matter of who the spirit is being poured out upon. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahweh your power, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. All right? So when he said, I'm going to pour out the spirit upon your daughters, your sons and daughters, that's talking about Israel. You other nations got nothing coming but shackles and chains. All right, get ready to get put on those ships and get shipped to the four corners of the earth. Let's go back to Acts and finish it. This is Acts 2 and 17. it reads, and it shall come to pass in the last days, saith power, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And basically all the nations. Alright, that's actually talking about all flesh, because all the nations are seeing the visions of the destruction of the end. Let's play this one last time.
According to the Bible, genealogy, and history, the so-called African American are the true Hebrew Israelites. I hope you heard me clearly. Because this ain't a joke, this ain't no extremist movement. This is deep and we have no time for games. So what if I told you the truth? Would you call me insane? Let's see. To my brethren, all my black sisters and brothers, Isaiah said he leave our name from being called the chosen. That's why in this country we're only known as Negroes and coloreds, but we're Israelites. And the people in the power knew that the Bible is our true history, so they painted Jesus white and made laws that prevent us from knowing how to read. But nowadays, they just keep us hypnotized by the dopest beats, so you can't even see the tactics that are keeping you asleep. We got the guns pointed at each other. Deuteronomy said, your eye will be evil toward your brother, toward the wife of your bosom, and the remnant of your children.
Hey.
According to the Bible.
Hey, with that, call Halal Yahweh Bashem Abishai Bashem Rakakwadash Wa Abba Babal.